I'm honored and humbled to have had a publishing company on the other side of the planet asked to do a book of mine, and it is one that they just released in the end of January that is titled Eternal Never Ending Now. It's about 137 pages, I think. And so I was looking, and look at me, see all of these? I was just thinking, oh, I'll just be able to just sort them and be able to reference which is the next poem to read with this many colored markers on here. And I found that was just next to impossible to do. So I do have, hard copies as well, so I can go through and share some poems with you before the open mic starts. John asked to go into the open mic for a little bit as well for that, and I thank you all for listening. I've got a weird variety of stuff and stuff that is not the most common things. Some things people like Ben Franklin have heard before, so I was trying to find pieces that I hadn't shared with people, so I hope you enjoy them, and it shows the breadth of my work over the many years. This first one...
Is it up on Amazon, Janet?
It is up on Amazon. I believe I emailed you the link, and when I have a chance in the middle of it, I might be able to put it up in a post as well. 10 minutes ago, I'm like, I'm sending it to you and to me, and if I don't have the time, these are the links for ordering the book as well. I bought 10 copies of it. I think they are $15 each from cyberwit.net. If somebody wants an autographed copy, I could do that as well, but I haven't figured out how or when or why or what to do any of that. All I want to do now is share poetry with you. I hope that's all right. Different styles. This one is, I said because it was about travel, it'll be the first one, and it's called My Kind of Town. There's nobody here with a Chicago reference to get the My Kind of Town thing, but this is called My Kind of Town. After walking through the Forbidden City in Beijing, China, where all of the palace doorways had gold-colored risers blocking people's way into rooms 4 inches to a foot tall, because the higher your level of authority or royalty status in the kingdom, the higher the bar people had to step over, not on, but over, in order to get inside the royalty's room. But after the Forbidden City, I entered the summer palace. An old Chinese man walked up to me with what I believe was his granddaughter walking 1 foot behind. Though, who knows, in China, this one young girl could have been one of his concubines, but it's really not for me to judge. But this older Chinese gentleman walked up and asked, in the best English that he could muster, where I was from. So I told him the United States, and then I said Chicago. And that's when this man's eyes lit up, and he said, "My kind of town." And I started laughing and nodding my head in agreement, and then he leaned in and he said, "Frank Sinatra sang that." And I laughed. I said, "Yes, he did. He sure did." And I laughed again, because as I said, even though this world may seem so vast, we will always find ways to connect with one another. The theme, and I said for travel, and that is why my second one is a women's issues one. I have a lot of women's issues ones, but I'm only sharing one because I worked as an acquaintance rape workshop facilitator for years. But this one I would like to share with you is titled Unmarried Women and Dead Bodies Everywhere. In the Ganges River in India, the most sacred river to Hindus, it's still religiously renowned. But on one day not too long ago, at a tributary of the Ganges River, they discovered 28 bodies. The locals first spotted the corpses when vultures surrounded these bodies as they piled up along the shore. Online news sources explain that bodies may have been left there when families couldn't afford a burial. And at those same online news sources, lucky you can see videos of dogs eating the flesh of the dead. But I was there. I read those newspapers as the Star of India came to me daily, while locals displayed more bodies before they found 104. The local papers explained that this tradition of halpavra is a custom in some cultures. When unmarried women die, their bodies are dumped into the river. Unrecognizably decomposed, more and more bodies of unmarried women kept floating to the surface in just a few days in this sacred Ganges River. I kept looking for an explanation, and all I could think was that this river was supposed to be sacred. And I wondered if this was their effort to give these women a family in the afterlife, putting them in a river they call sacred. Because I know how they treat women, how they view women in India, cover their skin, that they don't talk back. Because even though women are treated like nothing by men there, they'd be less than nothing if they're not married. Sorry, stranger for you. I do have animal issues, and I've got a number of them. I really limited it, but I have this one that for you guys, and it's titled Unique Noise. I have shared my call with the world. For those close who listened, they responded, so I shared, and we were happy. Now I have stepped onto foreign soil, and suddenly I feel so alone. There was suddenly no one for me to call to, and I am lost with no chance for me to share my soul. I recently heard of a lonesome whale in the Pacific. His mating call is 52 hertz, which is higher than any whale can hear. Navy researchers studied this one noise, this one unique noise for years, and as far as they could tell, only one whale made this call. And I've been pacing my apartment thinking about this one lost whale, wondering, are they lonely? Are they bound to be this way forever? And I think I'm beginning to understand that pit in your stomach feeling, that loneliness that won't go away, because when you look around, you see no one. And I want to swim to the deepest depths of the Pacific, look for who is lost. They have to be there somewhere. Let me find them. Let me tell them they're not alone, even if I am. But I know this is all a useless battle. If I found them, they wouldn't hear me. I wouldn't be able to help, and we would remain together, but alone. Because now that I'm on foreign soil, I've forgotten how to stretch my hand and hope that someone will want to take it. So I stand here, far too alone and far too frightened to feel free. Thank you. I don't have many pieces that talk about things that related to a near-fatal car accident of mine, and this doesn't, but it's funny for it. And this piece is titled Xraying Metal Under My Skin. Oh, and by the way, I should wave. I'm doing a live stream, and I see Louise Gail Richardson and other people watching live, so I had to give them a wave. So, and hopefully she'll come to the live Zoom meeting as well. Yay for poetic license. So anyway, this piece is titled Xraying Metal Under My Skin. Went to a back doctor where chiropractors twisted my back, heard strings of cracks along my spine at every appointment. And at one point, they took an x-ray of my chest and back, checking for disc injuries or inspecting the curve of my spine. Went into the office. They brought me into a room. They turned on a light box on the wall, and they placed my x-ray in the light box, and they asked, "What is that?" And they pointed. It almost looked like an angular spider missing a few legs in one of my veins. I stared at this for a moment, and I think my eyes turned into saucers when I realized what this foreign object was in my body. "Oh, that's a Vena Cava filter," I said to them. "It was placed in me when I was in a coma, and they didn't know when I'd wake up." They looked at me for a moment till I said, "I've always wondered what that thing looked like." And although it's metal in my vein that would vibrate through my veins and to tear my heart and instantly kill me if I ever had an MRI scan, although this metal was placed in my vein without my consent when I was in a coma, despite this, I wanted this x-ray so I could feel some sort of connection to this invader. I know, it's only there to stop blood clots from traveling to my heart or lungs or brain that could kill me. I know it's only there to help, but this foreign object has taunted me for too many years now, planting seeds of distrust in the back of my mind. This microscopic monster was placed in my vein, driving this love-hate relationship that I now have to this non-human object embedded deep inside me. I know it's there. At times, I think I can feel it. I think this metal mini spider is also scratching at my soul to remind me that something foreign has invaded me. I can't claw it away. And while I hate it and I need it, it always reminds me that there is something deep inside of me that will invade me like this forever. Thank you. I don't know how much time I have. I have one longer piece here. This is one that was suggested by someone else to put it in. See what you guys think of it. It is called God Eyes. It was a stupid point to argue about at 2 a.m., sitting in the lobby at the Las Vegas Hilton, listening to the clink and whir of the slot machines and the dropping of tokens onto metal. You believed in God. I did not. Even after 2 rounds of Sam Adams and 3 rounds of Bailey's, I knew you wouldn't change my mind, and I had no desire to change yours. You told me of a dream that you had. In it, you and Christian Slater played a game of pool. You won. He looked at his hand and he said, I've got a beer in one hand and a cigarette in the other. I guess this means it's time for me to go seduce someone. And he left. Oh, you're a funny man. You make me laugh. Your brother even noticed that. And you even spoke like Slater. Rough, mysterious. You were the optimist. Yes, there is meaning to life. I was doomed to nothingness, meaninglessness. But to me, you were the pessimist. You believed that you were not capable of creating the power, the passion you had within you. I had control in my life, even if in the end it was all for nothing. You think we're so different. We are not. And now it's after 3 and we listen to music. Al Jarreau, Whitney Houston, Billy Ocean, Mariah Carey with their father. That's why, darling, it's incredible, you mouth as you walk toward the washroom. That's someone so unforgettable. Take a spin. Watch me mouth the words with you as you walk away. Think that I am unforgettable too. I tell you about the first time I ever got drunk. I was maybe 10 and asked my sister to make a mixed drink Mom had that I liked. She made me quite a few. So there I was, walking to the neighbor's house in the summertime, wearing my sister's 70s zip-up boots, oversized and unzipped, carrying my 7th drink and sticking out my tongue to see the grenadine. You liked my story. You laughed. Passion is a hard thing to describe. Passion for life. You must know and understand a spirituality behind it. You do your work, the things in life solely because you must. It is you, and you could not exist any other way. It is who you are. It's a feeling beyond mere enjoyment. You said that spirituality was a god. I said it was my mind. Once again, we lack horns. All my life, I've seen people espouse beliefs and not follow them. Tell me you're not like them. Our values are different, but tell me that we both have values and we'll fight to the death for them. I need to know that there are people out there like that, like me. We are different, but at the core, we are the same. We understand all of this. I'm grasping at straws here as the clock says 3:45 a.m. and the betting odds for the football game has rolled by on the television screen. You don't gamble. Neither do I. Why must you live so far away? You reminded me that I have passion in life, that I have to keep fighting, but I get weak and tired of fighting these battles alone. I, the atheist, have no God to turn to rely on. I have to use my will. When I'm low, I struggle. You have a God to fall back on. I only have me. And you looked in my eyes as it approached morning. You stared. We locked horns once again. I asked you what you were thinking, and you said, I see a God in your eyes. And then later you said it to me again. I asked you what you meant. And you said, I see a God in your eyes. I see a soul. Well, whether what you saw was your God or just me, my passion, well, thank you for finding it. Goodbye, Miss Kuypers, you said when you left for good that day. I said nothing. Goodbye, Mr. Williams, I thought, and then closed the door and walked to the window, started singing Unforgettable. I was alone in my hotel room, and the lights from the Stardust, the Frontier, the Riviera were still flashing. I'm not alone. Goodbye, Mr. Williams. So, there are a lot of different themes on these things, and you try to put as many as you can into here. This is another one that was not, it was suggested by someone else to put in. It's a shorter one, and it's a short one. It's called Lambs to Heaven's Gate. They tell you the meek shall inherit the earth, and then they lead their lambs to the slaughter, as I do to the ones who will follow. You see, the meek wouldn't know what to do with their inheritance. They know nothing of property, ownership, power. I teach them not to understand these values, but to fear them, to sacrifice, to stay meek. I'm the one who tells them how to dress, how to walk, how to kill themselves. All they need is a reason, as long as they don't have to think it through. People will believe anything if you tell it to them the right way. Give them a few tokens and they'll make icons out of you. Oh, but not everyone can guide, can lead the lost, give themselves to their followers who need them, with nothing in return. Like the stars, which seem so small, so meek from here, yet are unfathomable, uncontrollable. Like the shepherd, quietly guiding his flock, but holding a stick nonetheless. I'm the one who guides them to their destiny. And I've just turned the page in the book, in this new book from cyberwit.net. This is a poem that is titled Effigy. It's a one-pager. I need to explain it first. It was written on August 28th, which is the same day in 1955 that the black teenager Emmett Till was brutally murdered in a lynching that galvanized the civil rights movement. It's the same day in 1957 where U.S. Senator Strom Thurmond filibustered to prevent the voting on the Civil Rights Act of 1957. And it's also the same day in 1963 with the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, with Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. having his Eye of a Dream speech. They all happened on the same day. And this short piece is about that. Try to put that all in one day. This is called Effigy. When it gets hot like this, when the summer drags on, then is when you wonder when heat and pain will end. It's as if a fire has been set to this entire land, and this fire is within the hearts of men still set out to do you in. Low winds come across the plains, rustling leaves and anything hanging from the trees. And after this heat that you've suffered for far too long, all you can see are your brothers hanging from those trees in effigy. Then when we fight, we even use your rules, and still you do everything in your power to stop us from having the rights we have always deserved. It may take years for us to come together to truly try to make real change, but even when we agree that we should all be free, the blockades we think are forever down will still remain. We want to be free, and we will always fight, but we will always feel the flames on our backs as we face the wind. Thank you. I'm seeing more people, and I'm going to have to write more people to the list. I have no idea the time because I don't have a thing. Hey, I think it's 3:30, so I will do that. Oh, I've gone 5 minutes late. Oh, sniff. Hi, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to this latest installment of Poetic License. The 7th of March, Yippee Skippy. I was thrilled that I had a book recently published, and on Zoom host John F. McMillan's suggestion, he said that I could read a few pieces at the beginning that would break into the first few minutes of this open mic. I'll try to make it another maybe 10 minutes. You're speaking, I think, John, but you're muted. I see there was. I know what to Tom came. Yes.
On the list, after Catwoman, Michael, then Louise, then Tom.
Michael.
Then
Louise.
Oh, thank you.
Tom.
And then Tom. Yeah.
And then Tom. All right. Thank you very much.
Back to you.
Thank you very much. I will do a couple here right now, and I need to have a drink because I've been talking so much. This next poem that I was going to share with you is a very recent one. The book ends with my most recent and oldest, very recent and oldest poems. I won't share the oldest one with you, but I'll share a most recent one, a very recent one. It's sciencey. It's titled "You Have No Idea," and I am telling you that because the end of the poem are the words, "You have no idea." We try to understand the details. We research, we study the core of the matter, and we believe we understand it all. Until we find out that we're missing pieces. We're only seeing a tiny fraction of what makes things work the way they do. Astrophysicists and science philosophers have tried to unravel the key to the universe and only now speculate a theory. And these science types live on theories. I mean, that's why they call it the Big Bang Theory. We may have evidence, but no proof. So in this effort to understand, while the pieces don't all seem to fit into place, they make a theory that they can't know. For if something controls the physics, controlling things in ways we don't understand, maybe we're not to see what controls it all. If there was something these science types don't understand, they don't turn to a god, for it's their thing to come up with these theories that they can try to prove or disprove. So they come up with dark matter. They research and look for evidence so they can hypothesize about this magical stuff, this theoretical stuff that they can't see. And the only way that they could find proof is if in their experiments they found nothing. Because a lack of anything is the nature of their theory, for it's impossible to even see their dark matter theory in the first place. So after all this guesswork, if things still don't make enough sense to them, they hypothesize then about something called dark energy, something else they can never actually prove. Maybe, they think, maybe then this impossible theory number 2 is a force driving everything in the universe apart. That would make sense. Look at these puzzles. Look at the preposterous nature of the lack of a preponderance of evidence. And imagine that this is how these science types formulate theories the rest of us are supposed to blindly believe. You think you know me. You see the pieces I spoon feed you, and you say you understand. But you have no idea. I have to try to put my science in there, right? I love my science. What? Yeah.
I love the science, I really do.
I love the science. Some of you have heard this one, but I can't not include this poem in this collection. It is, I believe, the first one in the book. Page 7, yes. It is titled and written on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. This is called Our Color, Our Gender, Our Creed. There is a house inside of me. It's a house with a rich heritage, brimming with the knowledge of how our souls have flourished and how it can all be so quickly taken away. There is a house inside of me that has had to shut down to hide everything away because those who didn't look like me thought that I was nothing and treated me accordingly. There is a house inside of me. Its pulse has an infectious rhythm that we've had to stifle to hide from your generic white bread world. We only let it out when we're alone to save us from your madness. There is a house inside of me. I've hidden it away. I've sealed it up and placed it deep within, brimming with my history and my future. And I don't let it out when people can't think of me as human. There is a house inside of me. I've put bars over the windows to save myself from your storm. With your wrath, I've learned to not fight back, only because my captor won't listen. There is a house inside of me, and this house will stand strong even after you have raped me, beaten me, tortured me, tried to kill me, treated me as nothing. But you were so wrong. There is a house inside of me, and what you don't realize is that this house will outlast yours. Trust me. If your house was built on distrust and such blatant disrespect, then your house is bound to collapse. Because after all this time, and after my wanting to fight, I have learned that passive resistance is only a part of my story. Because in these struggles, I have gained a wisdom and a connection that is beyond this house inside of me, beyond this sharing, this inquisitive mentality. So I want you to remember, This house is a symbol for all like me, and for those not like me, too. Because I have a dream that everyone who has suffered like this, and even those who have not, should share their stories with the world, no matter our color, our gender, our creed. This is my dream, because this is how we truly grow. Thank you. I'm not looking at it. Oh, I do have a few. Should I end with the title poem? Yes, I will do that, but should I be looking for another one to change out the paces of this? Maybe I will just do the one that is actually the title poem for the book and let you guys have an open mic then. How does that sound? I hope that's cool with you guys. This poem is one of the poems in the book, and that is the title, Eternal Never Ending Now. We struggle in our world, we contend with regular problems, and we look for relief in any way we can. We think a vacation may temporarily assuage how we feel, and it does. And then it's back to the same old grind, the same never-ending meaninglessness. I know it's hard. I know it seems hopeless. But I want to ask you, can you take a moment, can you pause and think of a time in your life, any time when you felt at peace? It may have seemed a lifetime ago. Maybe it was a beach at sundown listening to the waves crash. Maybe it was sitting along a mountainside watching the little cars driving on the little roads below. And maybe it was jumping into a vat of fresh soybeans when a farmer said to look around the farm, and all you could smell was fresh wheat and the dew from all the lush green around you. I don't want to bring up references to bubble baths or baseball games. Just think of something that works for you and remember it. And what I want you to do is find that moment, and you may realize then that time then seemed to stand still. There was no past, there was no future. There was just an eternal, never-ending now that didn't end. And during that moment, you don't even remember it ending. It was that complete. So, if you can remember those times, if you can reflect on those times, then know that that perfect moment of completeness, of wholeness, is within you. Find it, and know that peace is with you, always. There's my reading for you guys. Hello, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, bots and goyles. Thank you very much. I'm looking at the clock over here, and I'm like, well, don't know what we'll do for rounds, if we should do 2 or 1, and I will actually ask John F. McMillan's thoughts on that one. You can unmute yourself, what your thoughts are. You'll always get 2, darling.
I suggested 1, and then you read at the end, and then at this time we'll have another round, and we'll go either 1 or 2 then.
Oh, well, splendid on a stick. You said a round of 1 for everybody this time, and just because I double plus like you and you gave us this Zoom meeting, John F. McMillan, thank you very much. You're going to get 2 anyway. And then the poet on deck after him will be Brian, Generalissimo himself. So, so John, thank you very much, you guys, for everything, and I'll try to share what I can about this book in a little bit. So, John, please take it away.